Birders, like anyone, have different ideas and opinions which then can lead to disagreement, and in this video I have picked 5 birding disagreements to highlight. Number 1 is rare bird sightings. The authenticity of rare bird sightings can be a topic of contention. This is especially true with waterfowl and parrots, as these birds are more likely to be escapees than other species like warblers or shorebirds. When a waterfowl has a band on its leg or some of its flight feathers are missing, then it is assumed to be escaped, but when there is no band and its flight feathers are still in pretty good shape, it is thought to be wild. Sometimes, however, as in the case of the common shelduck in Wisconsin, the bird has no bands and its flight feathers are still in good shape, which makes it even harder to tell and sometimes impossible. Another factor that is typically considered is whether or not the bird is used to humans. If it is used to humans and not very skittish, then it could sometimes be considered escape, but if it's not, then that could be a factor in declaring it wild. However, there's often not a great way to tell sometimes, which makes this a highly controversial topic among birders. Number 2 is bird banding and tagging. Banding and tagging are methods used in ornithology and conservation to study as well as track bird populations. These techniques offer insights into migration, behavior, and population trends. However, debates arise regarding their necessity and potential harm to birds. Advantages include enhancing scientific knowledge of bird biology, aiding population monitoring, unraveling migration patterns, and studying behavior. However, disagreements stem from ethical concerns about stress and harm to birds, potential risks during capture, and the possibility of introducing biases due to some species being easier to catch than others. There are some proposed alternatives like radio transmitters to potentially mitigate some of these issues. Before I get on to the next disagreement, I would really appreciate it if you would click or tap the like button on this video, as it helps this video spread to more people and encourages me to make more videos, so thank you very much for doing that. Number 3 is hybrid birds. Now, hybrids often exhibit a blend of characteristics from both parent species, making their physical appearance and behaviors unique and sometimes difficult to categorize. Disputes often arise over whether or not hybrids should be classified as separate species, subspecies, or just variations of parent species. A common hybrid example is the western gull and glaucous winged gull. These two commonly hybridize, making what is typically referred to as an Olympic gull, which the Olympic gull is not currently considered a separate species. Blue-winged warblers and golden-winged warblers also frequently hybridize as well, which is thought to potentially be one of the factors in the golden wing's decline. Number 4 is listing. What counts for a birder's life list? Do you have to see the bird, or is hearing it just fine? Do exotics and likely escapees count, or do they not? Comment below what you count for your life list. Personally, I count both seen and heard birds, but I do not count any birds that are in captivity or are escaped from captivity. For a big year or big day, birders may count wild birds they either see or hear. And that's another point of contention. Some birders aren't on board with this approach. They argue that when some birders use playback, it can lead to confusion. So imagine this. You're out birding, hearing what you think is a bird's call, but in reality it's just a recording being played by another birder. As a result, the American Birding Association has said that for big days and big years, you can only count heard-only birds if recorders assure themselves that audio playbacks are not being mistaken for birds. Number 5 is camera use. The use of cameras in birding brings both advantages and concerns. Photography's potential to disrupt birds' natural behavior and habitats is a key concern. There are also more considerations, such as using playback to attract birds to get a great picture, which could potentially bring them in too close and disrupt their natural behavior. On the positive side, photography allows us to capture images of the birds we love. So is bird photography okay? As both a birder and a photographer, I think there is a balance between the two. By prioritizing bird welfare and best practices such as not using the flash, I think birders and photographers could both enjoy their hobby while safeguarding the well-being of the birds they love.